I'm a recent alumni of Fulshear. I was there from December 14th, 2021 to November 18th, 2022. And here's my advice if you're looking into Fulshear. I'd say the big thing with Fulshear is that you have to be ready to put in the work. I've seen people who are sort of dragged here or aren't ready to get better yet, and I don't think that this is ever going to be the right environment for someone who's not ready. For that, I recommend something more intense like wilderness. But this is a lot of people's second program too, because after the intensity of wilderness or being stranded in your own life with mental illness, it's a good place to be like in the real world somewhat and still take a moment back without being shoved into everything. With the two pathways, there's the opportunity to go straight to the apartments, which looks appealing to a lot of people, because the ranch is really hard. It can be really tough, and it might look shiny to just go right to the apartments, but unless you're really ready to balance work and school and treatment, I really do recommend starting with the ranch, which is what I did. I was at a point in my life where I knew I needed to fully focus on my mental health and on getting better, and so that's why I think the ranch was the right environment. So for those considering the program, I'd say Fulshear is best for people who are ready to work hard and get better. I'd say going to the ranch is for people who really do need to just put all their focus on it and aren't in a great place. And for the apartments, that's more of if you're struggling, I guess, with executive functioning, or just you need a little bit more focus on the life skills, because you'll learn life skills at the ranch too, but it's a lot more applied at the apartments. So if your struggle is mental health, ranch. If your struggle is more of functioning, apartments. And then for Fulshear in general, you just got to be ready to do it and willing. Once you get to the ranch, it's a tough transition process. Initially, when you get there, your phone's gone. You're not allowed to contact anyone until you get to the second phase, which for me was 2 weeks, but for others can be shorter if you don't come right around Christmas. So it feels like a lifetime. It feels like you're there forever. I got home recently and I found all the letters I had written my mom the first 2 weeks I was there. I had written her a letter like every single day, like day 3. I've been here my whole life. I remember nothing but the gates of the ranch. And so it is really hard. And anyone who does it is really strong for getting through it. But what's important is making connection, giving everybody a shot, like getting to know everyone without judgment, because that can be an easy way to lose the opportunity to connect with someone really great. And once you've sort of made connections and you're able to contact your family again, which is lovely, another great way to sort of feel more involved and more like you're doing something good is to get involved in management. So there are several management positions currently. There's house manager, which is what I was. There's barn manager, activity manager, and recovery manager. I don't believe there's a garden manager anymore. But depending on who you are, each one can be a great fit. I am someone who really likes figuring things out logically and puzzles and just putting the pieces together. And so that's why house management was great for me, because when you make the chore charts, it's like putting a puzzle together. I would keep spreadsheets and notes and all these little rules, and I put them all together. I had so much fun with it. It can be a nightmare job for people who don't like keeping track of stuff like that, but for the right person, it's a great time. Barn manager is really great for people who are really enthused about the horses and really ready to work hard, because that is easily the hardest management position. Activities manager can be really fun because you're helping brainstorm activities. It's a lot more outreach with the rest of the community, and you can even get involved with budgeting. And that can be a fun experience. And then recovery manager is great if you're really dedicated to the CD and recovery, and you want to encourage your peers. So I think a management position is a really great option for anybody. On the ranch, I also recommend bringing as much fun stuff to do as you possibly can. I showed up with 0 books. They've got bookshelf that you can access. We go to half-price books sometimes. By the end of my stay at Fulshear, I had a huge book collection that I did not have before, that I struggled to bring home. And a few that I donated, so if you can find any for me in the bookshelf, I don't know. And I received a bunch of gifts from my family in the form of like puzzle books. There was a lot of diamond art to be done, Sudokus, Kakuro, nonograms. I tried to explain nonograms to people so many times and it never took, but just bring stuff to do, because there's a lot of downtime and you do not have access to your phone, so you cannot do what you'd normally do in your downtime. So it's good to have stuff to do. I also highly recommend either already knowing or learning how to crochet or make friendship bracelets. A lot of people crocheted. I can't, but I love friendship bracelet making. We were basically a knitted product factory there. It's a great pastime during groups. With groups, it's really great if they can be really helpful if you find the right type of group for you. So there are several types of groups, including support groups. I used to be the expert on this. I won't name them all, but I used to know all of them, and I would just list them off to people. But yeah, there's a lot of different types of groups, and there's a lot of ability to choose what you want to do while you're at the ranch. So choose the right groups and engage in them, and really try your best at putting yourself in there, and bring your crochet or your friendship bracelet. Then once you get over to the apartments, one of the best things you can do is already have school or a job or volunteering lined up before you get over there, which can be done by getting assistance from the life skills specialists. And I already had several interviews lined up when I got to the apartments and was able to get my job very quickly, despite my COVID, which I had. when I got to the apartments. It can be a little bit of a shock getting over to the apartments, and so it can feel like a little bit of a dip in your journey, but that is very natural, and it happens to a lot of people. You just got to get into a new routine and figure out the new stuff. But the best thing to do is to keep a balanced schedule. So you don't want to have nothing to do because you might go a little crazy. But you also don't want to overwork yourself and make yourself crazy that way. I found a good balance with my volunteering and my work on college apps and preparing for after Fulshear, along with the group we had in the morning every day, and some creative pursuits. A lot of people will find a good balance with either school or work. So it's just finding what you want to do, what works for you, and how you're going to hit your 40 hours. Another important thing with the apartments is being really honest with your treatment team and the staff about what you need from them, and how you're feeling, because that's how you're going to get the help you need. And that applies to both places, but just comes up for me with the apartments more. And by the apartments, hopefully you already have some connections and some friends, but if not, it can be harder, because at the ranch, it's like everyone's around you all the time. You're living with them, you're talking to them all the time. Everyone's constantly there. And then at the apartments, it's suddenly you only see them in the morning. You see your roommates sometimes, because they're going and they're doing stuff too anyway. So outreach is really important. Going to the community activities in the afternoon, if you can. It can be hard to fit it in, but making connections with staff too is really helpful, and that can really enhance your stay. Don't get too caught up in the people back at home too. Like, definitely keep your connections with them, but if they're the only people you're talking to, it's going to be a bit of a bummer. And just find stuff that makes you happy every day, which I feel like is just like a general rule for life, but helps in anything. So overall, connection, keeping busy, and really dedicating yourself are like the big 3 things that I recommend for getting through Fulshear.